Hello fly tyers, this is Aaron on the Fanaticals YouTube channel, and I am coming at you at my fly desk. Today I'm going to be showing you how to tie my rendition of a Copper John. Copper Johns came out quite a while ago. They're a super effective fly. People love to fish with them, and I'm going to show you how I tie them. So one of my favorite hooks of all time is the Daiichi 1270 curved nymph hook. Tiemco makes it, also Umpqua, Mustad. About everyone makes some type of curved nymph hook. This one just happens to be from Daiichi. I've been a Daiichi hook guy for a lot of years. They're some of the best hooks made in my opinion. So with the Copper John, I layer my hook shank with just some black thread, and then I like to do my Copper John tail with what's called goose biots. This is brown. I've also tied my Copper Johns with olive, and what I do is I cut off two of the little quills, and you can see they're both curved the same direction. So what I do is I simply separate the two and flip them over to where they're going the opposite direction, and you can see it gives it a really cool V-tail. And then I immediately attach that to the hook. I will kind of fashion it so it's to my liking. And then, so I keep my taper pretty much the same. I won't trim that. I will just secure it tightly to the hook and go all the way up to the bead. So you can see I go down, I've got a perfect little tail hanging off of that Copper John. Then I will get some ultra wire in medium. Comes in these nice little spools here. And one of the things I like to do is tie my wire all the way up. I will literally stick it in the hole of the bead on the side of the hook, not on top, but on the side of the hook. And I find that helps me taper my flies much better. And once I'm to this point, I will carefully wrap forward, covering most of the wire. And keeping my taper. Okay, now I've got my thread hanging next to my bead, and now what I will do is I will carefully wrap this wire and layer it either very, very close or right up against the previous wrap. And I like to go about 3/4 of the way. We'll just go right there to the front of my hook. And then I always trim my wire, you can see, with the back end of my scissors and not the tips, so it helps my scissors last a little longer. Then I will simply mash that wire down and cover it in a little bit of thread. Okay, so you can see it's got a really nice looking rib. We've got our nice split tail there. Now this is something different that I do, and you can probably guess if you've watched any of my videos before, but I like to make my flies look a little bit different than everybody else's, and also more durable. So on this, I'm going to actually put some olive UV glue and just brush it away from the copper. But let it kind of soak in there. And then hit it with the light. And what that does is it gives it a little bit different shade, makes it stronger, and then gives it a little bit more of a buggy look. So we're to that point. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to build our thorax. So with this one, I like to get some pheasant feathers. Now a pheasant tail will come off of here. These are the feathers that are on the back of the pheasant that kind of cover that. They got kind of a little copper shade to them. And I've always loved using this part of the pheasant for my flies. And so what I typically do is just cut this tip off. And then what I'll do is I'll put that to the end of my fly. I'll cut it, wrap this all the way to the bead, and I'll stop about right there. Then instead of using peacock herl, I use peacock dubbing. This is a hairline product called Ice Dub in peacock color. And the reason is there's nothing more frustrating than when you're fishing an awesome fly like a copper john and the peacock herl comes unraveled. So I will just spin some of this dubbing on my pre-waxed monocord and wrap it in there nice. Then I will pull over my pheasant tail feathers. I guess they call it like pheasant rump feathers. So now it's got a nice thorax there. So at this point I will either pull my pheasant feathers back or I will bring them down so they look like legs. So on this one we're gonna just go ahead and go back. And so I will simply build a little collar and that wraps it back. I've got a little piece flaring right there. So once I'm to this point, I will whip finish, pull it tight. Oops. And cut my thread. Now I like dubbing because you can see I've got some little legs that naturally come down there. I've got my wings coming off the back. I've got my cool looking split tail and our copper john body with a little bit of UV glue coming into that. So that, my friends, is Aaron's rendition of a copper john. And I found it to be a very effective fly. Love fishing copper johns. All you need to do is put a little super glue, head cement, or UV glue on the top of that.